little badass. Book badass. You little badass. You little badass. Bookclub badass. Welcome to the show.
We're here.
Welcome back. It's episode 11.
Episode 11, double ones, Angel's number.
I kind of like just like saying like what episode we're on because it's such an accomplishment.
It is. I mean, for just hometown bumpkins.
Hometown heroes.
I mean, I am so excited for when we may have a high school reunion and people are like, what are you doing? We're like, we're totally Romeo and Michelle right now.
What kind of business you all in?
Okay, I do apologize. This week, my voice is a little raspy. Ashley knows, some people know, I was an educator in elementary school, and it was the end of our school year. And like any good educator will tell you, we sacrifice our souls to the cause. So I caught whatever was going around, but I think it was exhaustion.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, but now we're here.
And I'm sure by next week, we're going to be seeing a whole new Katie.
A whole new Katie. I mean, I
I
already
mean,
cut
not
my
like
hair.
we need one.
Oh, it's
But I'm
going to
just
be...
saying, whether we like it or not,
I mean, you're going to have like flashbacks of like young...
Oh, that's fun.
Frownyless.
Okay.
Hashtag frownies.
Okay, well, my excuse is I have a small child who is puking all night. On the good side, I'm not puking. On the downside, I'm a little tired, but this is okay. First of all, I was really looking, I won't jump the gun, but I was really looking forward to ending both of these books
Holy moly.
because there's a lot to talk about.
So much.
But secondly, I'm just happy to be here in the studio.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Ashley. We are going to invest in quiet fans for the future because if you know anything about us, like I said, we live in 100-degree weather and the Hundies are here. We're going to be rolling in the Benjamins, but not the green ones.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be hot.
It's going to be lit. It's going to be on fire. It's going to be fire.
It's going to be hotter than a dragon's breath.
Oh, Lordy. Okay, speaking of your child, though.
Excuse me.
A little present. I love books. These are children's books. Tie your shoes like a true superhero.
Okay,
We a little Spidey.
Because I was a little out of it today, we had live action Spider-Man movie on. Let me just remind the people who don't know, my child in question is 3 years old. It was a little advanced for him, a little mature, but this book is
It's also a little advanced and probably a little mature, but he's getting ready for school.
No, this is perfect.
I like that there's a red and a blue lace so that you could see the different ones.
Too. I'm really happy about this. Thank you.
And then this one is for the smaller child.
He's gonna love it. Oh,
Dragons are real, Ashley.
oh, on theme. I feel like this might be the last time we talk about dragons for a while, unless I find a dragon book.
I was gonna say there were a few books that I was looking at today. I was like, I think we need just a little pause, a little reprieve.
Oh my gosh, this is really cute. Okay, I was about to do a live reading. I'm not going to, but this is really cute.
Bonus episode. Who's it by? Who's it by?
This is by Holly Hatam.
Yes.
Or Hatam or Hatem.
Yeah. Hate them, love them, both.
Go
All
on.
right. So, which one?
I think we should start murder,
Okay.
right? Oh, I don't know. I just feel like I'm not ready to talk about Onyx
Oh,
Storm.
I know because this. As soon as we talk about it, it's over.
It's so final.
Until I either read it again,
right.
or I just wait until the movie comes out.
That's true. I could start back at the beginning.
Well, why? When we have so many
Okay,
other
I
things
can't.
to
Actually,
do.
thanks for reminding me.
So-
I can't. I can never reread a book
Priority.
ever again,
Yeah.
and I don't want to.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Okay.
So death.
Shall we
Murder?
start? Let's give it.
Where shall we start?
By giving it its flowers.
All right. So Ashley Flowers with Alex Kiester.
The missing half. Okay, when we left off, we were halfway through the book. Halfway through the half.
Perfect.
Okay.
We're the halfway point.
Yes, we were. There were a lot of questions that needed answers.
A lot of predictions that we made.
Oh, that's right. I knew there was something going on with Jenna.
Okay, I just have to say, Ashley's brilliant. And as we were getting through the second part, I was like, oh, she's right. Oh my, of course. And then I was like, of course she's right. And then I was like, I can't wait to talk to her about how right she is. And then, whoa.
Okay, I knew something was up. I mean, we can recap, but I'm just jumping into something. I knew something was up. I wish I would have marked it. That would have been mature and responsible. But there
Yeah.
was something that Nick said regarding her like memory and her drinking and just the way she
Mhm.
opened a wine bottle, and I was like, oh no, I know what that is. I do. I won't get too far into details, but if you know me into details or details,
That's a different
but
pod, Ashley.
the writing was good because I knew that there was something alcohol involved. I just didn't really know what. I was pretty surprised through the revelation of everything.
Did you learn something about Ashley Flowers too?
Okay, well, I'm glad you bring that up because I learned something about her podcast host. So my brain was a little foggy. I had remembered back in 2022, I was a really avid crime junkie listener.
Mhm.
And I remember there was a time when one of them had to take a break. And I'm sorry, that was a while back. My memory is not that great.
You don't
but I
remember
knew-
2020?
2022. It was September 6th, if you want to go reference the podcast, because I did. And Britt, who is the
Oh.
other crime junkie co-host, experienced a really serious health scare, like beyond. She had to have brain surgery twice.
Oh my word.
There was some brain bleeding caused by anemia
Oh my word.
that was caused by overconsumption of alcohol. And there,
okay.
she really talks about her experience, and just I remembered there was something along those lines. So as I was reading the really good writing on Ashley and Alex's end, I was thinking, is she drawing from personal experience? But they are also, those two co-hosts are also lifelong friends. They were friends as children. It's very possible she was drawing on the experience of being in someone's life who has an alcohol issue. And if you want to hear all about it, they're both really open about their experience. So I'm sure you could go check that out. But
and I want to thank you for your vulnerability too, though, and
yes.
openness to talk about your journey, because here's the thing. You get to an age like ours, and if you're an older listener on the podcast, you're like, oh, I'm sure you're thinking like you have more life to experience. But that being said, we've still experienced enough life where you have stories. You have things that you've gone through that have made you, I mean, you had to have survived something to get you this far. You know what I mean?
Totally. And there were many moments that Nick was like trying to drink or trying not to drink, ultimately going to the bottle. There were just a lot of little things that I thought were pretty accurately depicted, like those feelings of just like not wanting to do something, doing it anyway, not knowing how else to cope, doing something that's familiar, admitting that it's not the right thing. I mean, she's gotten into trouble a couple of times now with her drinking and driving, which
they tell you.
Yeah.
And I mean, I will say this. I'm not going to say that everybody's had this experience, but I think it's common for many people to have drinking for quote unquote the wrong reasons.
Totally.
Or, in the moment, it seems like the right reasons to numb yourself.
Yeah.
And when I was reading it, that kind of hit me. I was like, oh, she just doesn't want to feel, and that's why she's using it. But then the second half completely paints this other picture of this alcoholism existed before.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess we can get into it. In case you're just watching for fun and you didn't actually read the book, we find out that... Nope.
There's
we don't.
We do. But if you have gotten this far and you're interested, because I did speak to someone recently who was like, oh, I think I want to read it. This is where you skip ahead or turn it off.
Okay, just put us in your back pocket.
Because the end it's such a it's twisty twist. I mean, it's not. I don't want to say it's such a twist, but this is a spoiler. Okay, so here's your moment.
The kind of book where you don't want the spoiler, in my opinion.
No, I agree. I thought it was so much better for it.
Yeah.
Okay, back to Ashley.
Okay, so you have been warned. We find out through actually not that many events. It kind of all starts to really happen fast in that second half, that the original girl who went missing and looked like was abducted, who is, oh my gosh, Jenna's sister, Jules, was actually killed in a hit and run accident by Nick, who is the younger sister, pretty much the main character.
But you think it's Jules.
And,
Or Kasey, sorry.
Kasey. And you think it's Kasey, who is Nick's sister. So let's just break it all down.
Yeah.
Nick and Jules, oh my gosh, these names, I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
Nick and Jenna, who are the two girls who are not missing, the two
Correct.
sisters who are not
Alive.
missing, they are working together on the case, and then things start to go weird. Jenna starts to distance herself from Nick, and Nick is like, "What the heck? You got me invested. We have a lead. Like, no." So she takes things into her own hands.
Yeah, she kind of fell off the radar when we last spoke.
Right. So fast forward, Nick basically attaches herself to Jenna. Jenna has no idea that Nick is in the back of her truck on this journey across state lines, and Nick is under the assumption that Jenna has actually decided to take the law into her own hands.
Which was, Ashley's setup.
Right.
Like last week, as I'm listening to it, I'm like, it's falling exactly how Ashley thought.
So right, but so wrong.
Ashley. Like, it's happening. Jenna's going after Skeezy Steve because Brad isn't innocent, but he's innocent for
the killing.
That's a whole nother story.
And honestly, I mean, we can talk about that storyline, but I was a little disappointed.
Yeah,
with
me too.
Just like
and
how
wife.
we're not taking that as serious as it was. Like the whole she grew up.
Anyway.
The uncle situation. Yeah, okay.
But back to the main, most important.
And even Nick is under the assumption that Jenna is going to spare Nick from whatever this encounter is going to be. Like, she still thinks like we're all on the same page, but Jenna's just being this older sister that she is, and she's going to go basically kill Sleazy Stevie.
Yeah, and at that point, Nick's like in it. She's like, I'm not even sure what I'm going to do. Like, am I going to be there with her? Like, am I going to try to stop her? Like, I know what she's feeling, and she feels like the sisterly bond that she's formed with her.
Right. She feels very connected and I think kind of obligated.
And then wham!
And then holy smokes, does Jenna not pull up to Kasey, the second missing girl's home in Nashville, Tennessee, which is not in Indiana.
Nope.
They drove like 7 hours. And so Jenna knows what she's doing. Nick, who had assumed that her sister had been dead for 7 years, finds out.
I mean, did you think she was still alive? Yes and no, but not in that way.
Okay, so after the last pod, I went back and I reread the prologue.
Oh.
To make a quote for Instagram. And it is a perspective, like a first-person perspective of somebody running away from somebody, and you don't know who it is. It could have been any of the girls at that point.
Right.
Because now we're
I totally forgot.
Yeah, so I kind of, when I reread that, I was like, maybe Kasey's still alive, but I didn't think it had any...
Pay attention to the
it
prologue.
wasn't. But I didn't put any of the pieces together as to how it actually turned out. I thought maybe there was something completely different.
Right.
So,
so many emotions in that moment too.
Yeah, very, very sad thing.
I mean, I thought, okay, she's got a baby. It's Brad's baby.
Okay,
that's what the money's for.
Yeah, I kind of thought there was a pregnancy as well.
Yeah.
But then it turns out, well, at that point we find out that Kasey had covered up the hit and run accident, and Jenna was under the assumption that Kasey had been the driver, killed her sister, and then made it look like a kidnapping to avoid jail.
And she doesn't deny, but she says it's much more complicated, and not Jenna, but Nick watches as
Jenna is going to kill Kasey
with the gun, and so she has this choice: my new sister, essentially through bond, or my sister's sister.
Who I haven't seen for 7 years and I thought was dead this whole time. And I haven't said one word because she's hiding in the shadows because Jenna has no idea that she's hitched this ride.
Yep. And she takes a hammer.
She has the hammer and she kills Jenna.
Thwack, thwack, thwack.
And it's a moment.
It is blood everywhere.
And then you have Kasey, who we're meeting for the first time, who's pretty calm and collected.
Yeah.
Because she's done this before.
Yeah.
So,
but not how you think.
Right. When she is pushed to the edge because Nick kind of just like unleashes about like all this resentment she has about Kasey taking care of her and
in the memory department.
Yes.
Because it wasn't her.
No, guess how Jules Connor passed.
It was Nick all along.
Yeah, it was Nick all along.
She killed everybody essentially.
She killed 2 people. She killed a whole set of sisters.
Okay. I was thinking about that. That's horrible.
And then if you think about, because we do meet the mom, the one who was sick and pretty just sad and just not a nice lady.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't really blame her. She obviously had a rough life, but.
Poor Jenna.
Really poor Jenna.
Really poor Jenna. I mean, honestly, okay, so with those twists though, I was like, okay, so I was listening to it
Me too.
and it was good. Oh, you were listening to it?
To the second half. Maybe not the entire second half, but like
Okay.
a good portion.
Okay, so I don't know if you got this vibe, but it kind of got hard to like differentiate between all of the female voices
Yeah.
because like I think the voice actor kind of slipped a little bit, but also the stories were just so intertwined that I was like, wait, what? Who, what? And then I was like, oh, and as she starts to remember, and it was kind of like she basically had completely blacked out.
Mm-hmm.
And then as Kasey is describing it, she's like, oh no.
Yeah.
Like,
And then she kind of meshes the memories together, which you can totally do. That's totally relatable because she had that more recent incident where she did hit a tree and that's why she doesn't have her license.
Right.
And then in the story from Jules' death, Kasey goes to rescue Nick, and Nick says, oh, I hit a tree. And then Kasey gets there and is like, there's no trees.
I mean, honestly, so sad.
Yeah, really sad.
Like,
Accident.
I was shocked.
But drunk driving.
Right. So, like, it's only an accident so much as the choice.
Totally.
And I'm just,
And then I look at, like, well, from the point that we know everything that happened, and again, if you're just here for funsies, they end up sinking Jenna's body in the same swamp that Jules was disposed
okay, so what did you
of.
think about the part where Kasey's like, oh, don't worry, don't touch that. First of all, don't touch that
Don't
DNA.
puke by it.
And don't puke. Yeah, and Nick's just kind of like, huh? Like, I just imagine like, huh? But Kasey's like down to business, saving the sister again.
I have to imagine that Kasey has been really just sort of disassociated for the last 7 years because of the huge thing she did in the first place.
And she was raped by an older man.
Was it Kasey? I thought it was Jules.
Okay, so Jules was raped, but I mean, would you consider? I mean, they said that she.
Brad.
I mean, they said.
Yeah.
Okay, to be fair, they did say she was 19. If you think about it, if she was 19, the only bad thing she really did, or illegal thing, was adultery.
Right.
However, I still think that when you raise a child and you have sex with them, that's essentially what happened.
Yeah, no,
okay?
definitely. That was a huge, and I didn't even think overall any of the characters made a big enough deal about that. Kasey was like, oh, that was actually really immature of me. Brad's wife was like, oh, I didn't want to like ruin our relationship with your parents and our kids and the community.
And the classic narcissist, oh, but I really loved her.
Yeah. Ew.
Yeah, and then that was good enough.
And also, too, there's
I'm sorry, I'm really pissed about that.
No, I am too. And there's all these secrets around Kasey's life that never were brought to light at the time that she went missing. And as far as everyone was concerned, no one knew what Kasey did except for Kasey.
Right.
So it's not like Brad knew she ran away and had in the back of his mind, everything was fine.
Well, okay, so I want to go back, though, because you were talking about tropes, writing tropes. And then I kind of made the point, like, well, with detective work, like, if you're following these cases, you're knocking off the suspect list, right? And when you're knocking off the suspect list, like, is this typically how something like that might go? And you do uncover the demons, the dark sides,
the affairs or whatever.
So maybe it was... I don't know. It just seemed messy.
For Brad's wife, like, I know it's not her responsibility, but
let's talk about that.
She knows that Kasey was looking for money.
Looking for money, but she caught her husband in the back seat in the alleyway
with a girl that she's known since she was a young child, and she's best friends with the parents. Like, I'm sorry.
And then kept face with Nick.
We're always doing, like, what would you do? And a lot of times I'm like, oh, it's hard to say. But no, in this case, it's not hard to say. If you're Brad's wife, that's not, I get what she says. She's like, no one cares about the housewife. It would have been my fault. Everyone would have said, oh, but you're his wife. You knew, blah, blah, blah. But if you brought it to light.
Okay. Yes. And maybe some of that stuff wouldn't have happened, right? But technically in her mind, Kasey has already disappeared. The problem's solved. I think the only redeeming thing, the only thing that made me go, was when she said, my kids. Why? Yeah. Like, the girl's already gone. Like, I've already accepted this and I'm willing to live through this for my children. I mean, like, you have kids. Would you, like...
I mean, I'm thinking, though, even before Kasey goes missing, like, when she finds him in the car, I'm telling everybody, and I'm sending Brad to jail. Like, I know he's not really going to jail, but, like, I'm sorry.
Well, and
do you want the father of your child to be in your kid's life when he's that kind of person?
And gaslighting your friends?
I just didn't think it was a big enough deal made that it wasn't just some affair. It was a very, like, it sounds like a very groomed situation. He says it wasn't. Even Kasey says it wasn't. She wouldn't know, I mean, necessarily. You know, I didn't think that was enough. There.
I agree, you know, and it's interesting because everybody who reads a book, they're bringing their own perspective, their own experiences. You know, I thank goodness, like, I haven't experienced that personally,
right?
You know, but that's the fun part about reading a book is, like, you put yourself in that position. You're like, what?
Yeah.
Like, no.
Well, while we're at it, so are we covering up this death when your sibling kills somebody?
Okay. Oh my gosh, I was going to ask you that. Okay, so would I have done that for my brother?
First of all, well, I guess we have to stick by the fact that he has no idea that that's what's going on because he would never let you do that, for one. But so we have to stick to the idea that he completely has no idea that it's happened.
Right.
Are you taking on a responsibility?
Like, if you know that it could save their life, essentially, that's a hard one because those of you who know me, Ashley, you obviously know me, but when David Miller passed away, it was from a drunk, intoxicated, high individual who entered the freeway going the wrong way.
Right.
And I believe that part of his death saved the children in the back seat. So I don't know if you knew that, but there were children in the back seat that this woman.
Wow.
Yeah. And I remember around the sentencing, because she was sentenced, obviously, you know, I tried to imagine what David's parents felt as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how can you forgive?
Mm-hmm.
Is there forgiveness? You don't get your son back, but you want that person to learn. And then look at what happened with Nick. So Kasey takes this on, and then Nick didn't really learn from it.
Right. She didn't learn from it. And she also now is devastated with Kasey being gone, and her life isn't.
And takes another life. She kills Jenna.
Well, that too. But even in those 7 years, she's very stunted.
Right.
She's not happy. That's for sure. So were you really doing her any favors? Maybe she could have. I mean, this is now really hypothetical.
Also 19.
Yeah, I know. I think Kasey did what she thought was best, and that's fine. I can respect her decision.
And a part of her probably wanted to run away.
Well, she
the
did
whole,
say
like,
that. She said that. She's like, Brad and I were done. She was getting sick of Nick.
But like, to the point where she, like, knew how to dispose of body and wanted to dispose of body, I was like,
Yeah, that was a little.
Excuse me.
That was a little icky. And then they put them in the swamp that they would pass by on a drive to their grandparents' house.
Okay, but never caught. Okay, never caught.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just answer that question. Would you have done it for a person you cared the most about in the world? Or, okay, would you be able to live with it?
I just personally, in a real life scenario, don't think I would have done it because I don't think I would have had the capability of actually pulling it off. And I don't think I ever would have felt confident in that. Because if we're talking real life stuff, like to actually get rid of a body, have it in the car, like she went to the repair shop,
level.
like that is very
premeditated almost.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into that, and I just wouldn't have the confidence in myself to be able to pull that off. So no, I don't think I would have been able to do that. It's honestly hard for me to put myself in the sober person's shoes.
Well, then let's get into Nick then.
Well, even with Nick, like,
would you want to know?
Yeah, I think I
wouldn't
would
have wanted to have done it, but
yeah, no, I wouldn't have wanted to have done it, but I think I would have rather just like gone to jail. Like, okay, not to be too gruesome, but like I've heard of a real life scenario of a girl drunk driving and taking a life and spending, 5 to 10 years in jail and then going on with her life. And like, that's a whole nother conversation, but I just feel like there could be a future there. And I don't think jails and our institutions are like, I don't think all of that is great. And certainly bad things happen to people there. But when you're thinking from just the other end of
Yeah.
like what the alternative was.
Look at how many lives were destroyed.
Right.
And the other information could have come out about Brad.
Yeah.
And like, I don't.
It's just hard to say because it's just so unknown of what the other situation was. But I don't personally, for me, I don't think that this was the right move.
I mean, good writing though and
Yes,
fun to read.
a great story.
Yeah,
A great story.
A horrible great story.
Right.
Once again, like as the twist kept coming, I was like, my mouth just kept dropping more and more open.
And
so props, Ashley Flowers
yes,
and Alex.
It makes me want to read Ashley's other book
Me too.
because I wasn't sure what to expect with someone who's so invested in true crime. And we were talking in the last episode about drawing from all these experiences and stories and tropes and everything else. And I just like how we weren't so true crimey and it was more, I don't want to say fun because it wasn't a fun story, but like
emotion.
it was just like a more of a thrillery mystery. I felt like it kind of like went away from reality. Just
a little bit.
There's a lot of different things that happen. Like, could Kasey in real life have been able to get away with that?
So, but when you watch the ID channel, bring it
Which
back,
we do,
or in different Netflix docs that continually drop, right?
True.
You have, it's almost like when it's like an oh shit moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, someone's dead, and then like blah 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 blah. Like, I don't think you'd really know unless you're in it. And a lot of these individuals are mentally ill as well.
Of course.
You know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's plausible. And I think the exciting part in the book was that it didn't seem possible.
Yeah.
And then it was.
Yeah. I will say if I had to be one of the 4 girls in the story, I would want to be Kasey.
Yeah.
If we're talking about relating to like weird parts of it.
Yeah, because everybody else is dead.
The second part of your question, that too. The second part of your question about like, would you be able to live with it? Like, honestly, moving to Nashville and doing what you want and having a new start, I'm not saying that's easy, but it's maybe doable.
Yeehaw. Okay, noted. We won't go look for you in Tennessee.
Oh my gosh, but really quickly, back to the writing, like Jenna asking all those questions to like solve it.
Okay.
I really liked that.
Okay, so Jenna's your spirit animal in this story,
Right.
obviously.
I liked her detectiveness.
Yeah, and let's put ourselves in Jenna's. She hesitated. But once again, here she was wrong.
Yeah.
And we were wrong about Skeevy Steve, and we were wrong about Brad to an extent.
Right.
So it's like,
I don't think, and again, it's easy to say because we're not in their shoes, and she's obviously gone through so much trauma. Her mom is a stinker.
Yeah.
She's lost her sister. She's lived this life. She's obviously, really traumatized, but I don't think I would have gone to kill Kasey. I would have wanted her to face like the legal repercussions. And I know it's hard to talk about because it's like, do we really know? Like, would she have gotten the justice she wanted?
I still go back to like she's 19.
Well,
like at that time, like if my brother did something dumb, I was covering his ass.
Yeah, but I'm talking Jenna going to kill Kasey now. I would have been like to this new cool chick detective who seems to be pretty cool.
Yeah, the new one that's on it.
Yeah.
Why not?
I would have probably gone that
I totally forgot
route.
about that character. Amy?
I don't remember. Detective
Or
Amy.
was Amy the wife? I don't know.
Oh, I don't remember, to be honest.
Names.
But
I
whatever,
like the new detective. Yeah.
I liked her, and we know Jenna met with her as well.
Mm-hmm. And she was like, I'm committed. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry you had that experience.
Yeah.
But remember what Jenna said is like, even the justice of a jail cell
wasn't enough for
wasn't
her.
enough.
Yeah. So I guess that was just her.
But look what ended up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do we feel sorry for the mom at all?
Not after how mean she was about Jenna.
Amen.
Like, she did lose a daughter, and now she's lost 2. And I think we can qualify her as someone with perhaps a type of mental illness. Like, she seems like, and I don't know. I don't know.
So we could put this one to bed, but we might want to get back under the covers in another Ashley story.
Yeah, I really quickly do feel bad for Nick's dad, though. Because he lost Kasey, and that was pretty much the end of his life. And then he couldn't open up, and he couldn't talk to Nick about the situation. And it seems like he's going to lose Nick, too, which isn't going to be a big deal.
Okay, so mom was an alcoholic.
Right.
And Nick's all of this is like coming together.
Yeah.
And
all
he
the
just
more
felt like a
reason-
failure.
Yeah.
He probably couldn't be around Nick because Nick was portraying a lot of the same similarities as his mom or her mom.
Yeah, and if Nick took after the mom, maybe Kasey took after him, and it doesn't really talk too much about their relationship. But who knows? Maybe it was a better one.
Yeah.
I don't know. But that's that.
That and the cat.
That and the cat.
All right. That one's going on
Thanksy.
the bookshelf. Oh, yeah. Little
Banksy.
Little Banksy. And I mean, do we just jump into Onyx?
I think
I
so.
wanted to play a game, but time is slipping, my friend, because these books were dig. Okay.
Now it's your
Big,
turn.
deep. Dig.
Okay.
Take
These
it
books,
from here, Ashley.
they were a lot. They were a lot. So when we left off in Onyx Storm, we were
Heartbroken.
heartbroken. Were we going to the island of the god of luck?
Okay. No, actually, when I remember, we weren't heartbroken yet. I was just flashing back to Endarna scenes. No, Ashley made this incredible prediction about Traeger. That's where we were.
Oh, called it.
Yeah, they were at a place where they were like,
It was.
wait, do you feel that
Yep.
magic?
Yep, it was the Luck Island, the god of luck. Okay, so
Sorry.
while I did think that Traeger was going to be lost, I thought it was going to be like in the epic battle, not
Not like
this.
one chapter in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that.
But I laughed, not because of Traeger.
But because we called it.
Yeah, because
and I
Ashley
felt
did.
really, really, really bad for Cat.
Oh my God, poor Cat.
Cat can't catch a break.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So
Poor
we did
Cat.
end up finishing it, which is awesome, but also sad.
I think maybe the best thing and the only thing we could do is just talk highlights.
Okay, let's do it.
And lasting impression.
Okay.
Let's start with the sadness.
Okay.
Why are you sad, Ashley?
Because it's over. And because we don't know when we're going to get the next one. It had been a while. Like you were fresh off the other two books. It had been quite some time. And
Yeah.
so I got kind of like a tease out of it. Like I got a little like, oh, there are Irids. And oh, Xaden is Venin who loves Violet so much that they can get married and then Imogen will erase her memories.
With great sex.
With really great sex.
Yeah.
And now I got nothing. Noah, I've got so much.
I mean, okay.
So here's some highlights. They killed Theophany. I liked that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Xaden goes full Venin to do so. Didn't like that.
I mean,
I don't hate it, but I didn't love it.
well, it's interesting. Well, okay. Yeah, okay. Keep going. I'm not going to interrupt, except for
okay.
right now.
and
I'm interrupting.
Okay.
Okay, what? Okay, go.
And Darna comes back. Badass moment.
Okay, but they didn't even know she left.
Right.
So she leaves, but you preferred when she came back.
Right. So Andarna leaves. Didn't love
In the
that.
second, or not the second half, but the last part.
Oh my gosh, Mira almost dies.
Whoa.
And Tiny, but they're good. Taryn and Sigale getting trapped, like didn't like that. I have like a weird thought. Do you want to share your highlights? Because I want to talk more about like what's in store for us.
Okay. Highlight, you calling it.
Okay.
Loved it.
Okay.
I also okay. The dragon's perspectives. I loved
Mhm.
the last like 5 or 6 chapters where it was different characters' perspectives.
I liked that a lot.
Because so throughout the story, you get Taryn talking to other dragons, or you only get the perspective, of the writers relaying information, but you don't hear the relay of information. So you're not in the Empyrean mindset, really. We do have this, moment with the 7th kind where we're in their brains, and like that's a whole nother part. I wouldn't say it was my favorite part.
Yeah, it was sad for Andarna.
I
Mostly.
mean, the emotion with the dragons was so good. I mean, okay. I love the dragons of this story,
Right.
and I loved being in their mindset. So the last 5 or 6 chapters, it jumps between, you get an Imogen, I loved that.
Right.
But through that, you hear them having conversations with their dragons, who all have their own personalities, and the whole thought of threshing is the right dragon chooses the right writer.
Right.
Like they have this compatibility, and you really get that sense through their banter.
Yeah, it made me really
Loved it.
feel like Rebecca could do a whole other series in 5 years, and it can just be, someone's side quest between them and their dragon. Like
Yeah.
there's just so much to do there, and maybe we'll get that, maybe we won't. But I really appreciated that as well. Just the tones and just the banter, like you said, just the personalities between the bonds.
And the perspectives were so good. She had established the characters so strongly and so well that when she was in their perspective, it was like
we know
cake for her.
You
know what I mean?
exactly.
Like it wasn't like, oh, she doesn't really get Imogen or she doesn't really get Ree. It's it was perfect.
Spot on.
I was like, oh, this is how I imagined her because of the writing. This is how I imagined her because of the writing. You know, even Xaden's perspective, we had gotten Xaden's perspective before, and it's very lustful. It's very love and deep and passion and pain, right? You get
lots
that
of
like
pain.
so much pain.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that was my favorite either, but it was great. And then bouncing, but I really think the Imogen part and their dragons and the sassiness, like the attitude between them.
Yeah.
So fun.
We got an Easter egg in Imogen's when she's losing Quinn, and Quinn says, tell him that you know how you feel. So we know Imogen has a crush on somebody.
Well, wasn't it Garrick?
Is it? Was it?
Because
it makes
like,
sense.
Well, just like, because that's when he came in and there was like
I guess
through that perspective, maybe?
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. And it would be him.
Right?
So like, that does make sense. I didn't really put two and two together.
I mean, it was like, it was so
no,
sweet.
I mean, it has to be him.
It was so sweet, right?
Yeah. Well, he did come right in. I just didn't catch that. Okay, so that's me.
What did he do?
He appeared.
Okay, so
and appeared he does.
The other thing I loved, yes, we said the Traeger thing, but like literally before getting to the end of this, you and I were like, well, why don't we get some more like other people in there or other like, and then she did it within the same book, and it was like,
you can tell it seems like, I mean, it hasn't been written yet, but it seems like we're going to get a lot of other stuff going on because Xaden is like, okay, you're going to have Tyrandor take care of it.
Look at you with your ring on. And Imogen was like, don't look at me. I did what you wanted me to.
And I was a little confused with the sage who in Xaden's POV. Like, was that the one we thought he had taken down? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So I think that once they were bonded, it was one of those like the vampires?
You can't,
Yeah, you can't like kill your own master or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, did you like that? Did you?
Okay,
know?
I was just a little confused. And then, so someone else has turned venom, and they don't say who it is, but they keep referring to it as the brother.
Oh, yeah. I think they were talking about Jack, because didn't they bring Jack?
Well, they brought Jack, but I'm pretty sure Garrick ended up taking him back, and that's why he was even more tired, because they brought Jack.
Right.
They Theophany ends up getting killed or whatever.
The extra, skills.
But Xaden,
Signet.
I think it's Xaden. Xaden says they're doing all this. She throws the dagger at Jack, and they're like, "Oh, they want Jack dead. He must know more than what he's saying. We need to take him back." I'm pretty sure Garrick then transported him.
That makes
back.
sense. It was all happening so fast that it was like,
I think someone important.
Oh, somebody else.
Somebody super important. Okay, hear me out, guys.
Yeah, I want to hear.
I think it's Bodhi, and I think that's why Xaden married Violet, so she could be running Tyrandor, because Bodhi was the next successor, and that was a huge thing everyone kept talking about.
Since you're making okay,
I know I'm just like making up a new story that doesn't exist yet.
No, because like I that's book club. We talk about it. Badasses.
That's my dream.
Okay. Well. Listen to this.
Okay.
Listen to this thought. Okay. So the conversation, right? Xaden's like Sigale to Taryn to, asking Violet, will she do this?
Right.
Okay. Now we think it's the whole like marriage thing. However, is Xaden dead? Because the one promise that Violet made was she was the only one that could kill him. And Imogen made her forget whatever happened.
No.
Okay, but think about it, right?
Okay, I'm thinking about it.
She could go that way with how she left it open.
I'm trying to think what happened in Xaden's chapter. Like, where did he leave off?
But I think that was it. He was yelling. He was like yelling down the
My nose is touching the mic, you guys. I cannot hold my head up if you're not watching.
And a dragon can a dragon can survive it, right? A rider dying. It would be really hard, but they could.
Yes, because Taryn had a writer before who passed.
Right.
We don't talk about.
Okay, so here's my question.
Okay,
here's a very important question, Ashley. Audience, not audience. You're participants. You are the badasses.
Book besties.
Book bestie. Oh well, but not okay. Yeah. So
she forgot.
No, I wanted to build the suspense.
It worked.
Yeah, didn't it? Okay, so are you ready for us?
Yeah.
Okay. Where's Taryn? We're left with Andarna and Violet, but where's Taryn?
Well, he's with Sigale, and they're with Xaden, and they're all living happily ever after with Bodhi over the Venom Island.
I don't know.
Because something weird happens with Bodhi's dragon too, and I forget exactly what, but like he's cut off and blocked all the other dragons, so that's why I think something bad happened to Bodhi. But then I also think that's why Xaden embraced his venomous, like he had already turned because he had already gotten the storm going. But I think that's why he took off and left, because not only is he super scary now, but I guess he's dead.
Is he super scary?
Well, he might be. He might be dead. Why
I
are you
still think that
doing
there's
this to
more
me?
magic going on. I think that there's still hope. I think that you still want to have hope. Rebecca wants you to still have that hope.
You know who was a standout badass for me?
Ree.
Well, yes, but that's not what I was going to say.
Keep going.
Arik.
Yes.
Premonition. And honestly, Violet has a lot going on, so I'm going to cut her some slack. But like, to me, it took her a little too long to figure out that Eric had premonition.
Yeah. Well, she didn't even realize her own second signet.
True.
You and I were like, well, she's in
Your
dreams.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
She's got a lot going on. It's fine.
That's true. We should be kind because she also was epic.
Mhm.
And the whole fight with Theo, I thought was pretty dope.
That
was a highlight. Yeah.
That was cool.
Really good.
I loved how she like jumped on the wyvern because it couldn't be re-sucked out of energy and magic.
I thought that was really cool.
That was
Clever
cool.
too. Maybe that's something Rebecca could work with in the next one.
Yeah.
You know, but no. Pancheck. He was the
traitor.
Oh,
And that reminds me, thanks for bringing this up.
Yeah.
I kind of think that we're going to see, and that's kind of like me on my little Bodhi thing.
yeah.
I also think we're going to see other characters, especially when we find out that Theo lady was a weather wielder and not a lightning wielder, and she was actually the opposite of Violet's mom.
Yeah.
And then remember that Lynx guy gets shadows because Xaden's turning venom.
Yeah.
Well, Arik gets premonitions, and they specifically are like, well, his are like
Malgren?
actual real ones, not like, but I feel like Malgren is maybe part venom.
Part of the ranks. Well, it's all these power hungry entities, right? But
it makes sense.
Especially because those leaders were also trying to find cures with Jack.
True.
Like, why would they try to do that? I mean,
oh yeah, Nolan was in
even,
there.
And this is what I freaking love about this series. Rebecca, you've left it so open that you could go anywhere.
She might not know.
Yeah, exactly. But you
So
set
if you're
it up so you
listening,
could, yeah, Rebecca, please, if you just want to, but keep Ree is forever.
oh,
And
totally.
Imogen, please.
Well,
and Mira. Okay.
Oh, Mira, my goodness.
My goodness.
And there's something more there with her too,
Yeah.
for sure. I think we're gonna get a lot more of like Ree and Imogen and Mira in the next coming books. Just if the boys are gonna kind of take a step back and do Venony stuff.
Might
I
get
think
some girl on girl.
Maybe. Fingers crossed. Oh, R.I.P. Quinn again. Just shout out to Quinn.
Okay. But thank you, Rebecca, because you knew that somebody had to go and you chose someone we like, but not someone we were that invested in. So thank you.
Well, until you just decided to drop it on me that Zane's probably a goner.
It's possible.
It is.
Or it might lend you to think that, and then it could be like it's almost like a soap opera. Did you ever like walk in on your grandma or mom watching a soap opera?
My name is Ashley after Ashley on Young and the Restless. Let's just say there's another character named Cricket, so I guess Ashley is the better choice.
I kind of want to start calling you Cricket because I love it.
Okay. Well, I have seen some soap operas.
Okay, so it's not unbelievable.
No.
Right?
Did you ever watch Passions?
Oh my gosh. My mom's was All My Children in General Hospital.
Okay. Well, Passions was like one with magic, and there was like a witch and a little scary guy. And I don't know. Anyway, I won't get into it because I don't really remember. But yeah.
But not cheesy. But the cool thing about this is not cheesy.
No, it's not. And I just can't wait for more. And I'm just going to forget about
What's going to happen with Indarna and why is she back?
I think she's going to leave again. Well, actually, no, because like you said, Taryn might be not around for a little bit. So maybe Andarna does have to step things up, which leads there to be some more issues for Violet, because I guess going into people's dreams somehow makes you intrinsic, and they kill those people. And
because you can manipulate thoughts and dreams.
Which she doesn't feel like she can yet. But remember, she could hardly even wield her lightning, and now she can do 10 bolts.
And wasn't Pancheck the one helping with that?
Was he?
The signets?
No, wasn't that
Carr, but also Pancheck.
Oh, maybe in the beginning. Oh yeah, he was really wearing her out, wasn't he? Or was
that
Carr?
That was Carr.
Okay, I don't remember.
Interesting. Oh, there's
but now Pancheck's dead.
Yeah. Oh, is he?
Well, I think so.
Oh, you know what? I probably forgot that then.
I'm pretty sure.
I was just so focused on everything
I'm
else.
pretty sure I remember even.
I'll probably,
I
you know
think so.
what? This might be like by the pool, just rereading to get a sec. You know how sometimes a movie's so good you have to watch it again?
Yes.
I'm not saying I'm going to reread this whole thing because we
Yeah.
got some other books on the table or under my chair,
Which we'll talk about.
But I actually caught myself skipping lines because I just wanted to know. I just want to get to it. Were you doing that?
I was listening on like 1.1,
Oh, right.
which is pretty fast for this particular
I'm
one that I got.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was. I'm pretty sure Panchak got it because Xaden was like, well, I can't kill my daddy Sage. I can't kill my brother Sage, but Panchak is getting it.
Okay, right.
I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Yeah, I think, because he was traitor and it was like, how could you and all that stuff. Okay, yeah. I still think, though, I do love when authors do that whole like memories missing because what happened and then we have to figure it out.
Yeah.
Also, it was kind of left on that cliffhanger. Is Violet going to assume the role? How is her heart going to be? Like, what are we feeling? Where's Rhea at? She's ultimate badass. Imogen, ultimate badass.
Yeah, some
Mira,
people are
ultimate.
missing too. I think 4 people are still missing. So
Yeah.
Xaden and Bodhi.
Yeah.
And somebody else and somebody else.
And there were dragons that were felled, but we didn't know
Right.
exactly at that moment what was going on.
So she might have, Rebecca, did you leave it open-ended for yourself as well, perhaps?
I mean, great writing in that
Yeah.
capacity. I do want more inner dialogue of the dragons because I thought that was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And it's pretty much my favorite thing. But I'm happy Andarna's back. I hope she sticks around. She honestly probably left and was like, you Irids are ding-dongs.
I think so too. I think she had a little bit of attitude and they kept downplaying her this is a part of her quest.
It was really cool, though, that the one in her bloodline came and lit up the other
Wardstone.
Yeah, so that was nice.
Well, and the whole thought that there's going to be retribution from King Tari, because they were letting in innocence. So we also have like this inner war kind of brewing.
That's true. I
which
feel like
I didn't really like that.
I don't like that either. I think Taryn will have to come back so that Violet can be like, oh, remember
I just don't know where he is.
Best dragon.
I just love him.
Well, he's probably. Oh wait, he's resting.
Right. Okay. Thank gods.
But
you're right.
Something's going to be going on with Sigale.
Something's fishy.
I mean, Sigale and Xaden can't just be gone.
Right.
So you're onto something.
Okay, but Mira's dragon and the imagery of her scales being ripped off.
That, but it was good writing.
It was really good writing.
Yeah.
The trap was good. But once again, what I love about how Rebecca sets Violet up and her troop is that you have these scenes where they're preparing something. You don't even know what's up. And then it's revealed to you during it. And you're like, that's clever.
Yeah. I also think we're going to learn a lot more about, what is his name? Bruin.
How about the Griffin Queen being dead?
Oh, yeah.
Mariah?
Yeah. So,
Mayara or something.
So I
something
think
with an
Takaris is in charge over there now.
And we have Marn and Kat that are still good.
Mm-hmm.
Who is the other Griffin writer that I was like, I feel like something's going on there? Not Traeger, but the other one.
Oh,
the one with
Drake.
Mira. Yeah, Drake.
I like him.
I feel like
There's
we're gonna get some more of him.
You know, I just had a thought. I wonder where's Halden? What's he doing? Like, maybe he's going to turn Venom.
Being a little bitch.
Yeah, maybe he's going to turn Venom, and maybe Eric already knows because he can see the future. Okay, I feel like we're just like kind of going on and on.
Okay,
now,
but
like,
Sloane.
there's so much.
Sloane's a siphon. She's learning more about her siphoning.
She had to do it.
Question. Can you siphon back into the ground? Could you siphon magic backwards?
Oh, and that was another thing about Bodhi and why I'm convinced that he's Venom, because he couldn't match Theo's power because that was Venom power versus whatever Rider power. But I think if he turns Venom, then he can somehow counter Venom power. So that's why I think he sacrificed himself. Just come back to me in 2 years saying this. I'm pretty sure that's what's going on.
That's what I love about documenting this on YouTube.
But Sloane might be a piece of that puzzle too.
They're all a puzzle that fits together.
And Dane, just really quick, we can't not say his name. Great. Perfect.
Welcome back.
Yeah. He
Welcome
can
back to
stand
my heart.
He can stand by Violet's side as she reigns over Tyrandor just as a friend.
Okay, what about Dane and Kat?
I could see
maybe
that. Yeah, I can see that.
Maybe. We still got to take down Daddy Atos.
Maybe Eric and Kat, though, because everybody's kind of referenced the royalty
thing
there.
What about Arik and Vi?
Yeah, I like that.
But we also want Xaden. We know we want Xaden.
Well,
but
and technically
depends
Vi's
on how long the
married.
series go.
True.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's that on that.
Okay, but Ashley, there's one more thought.
Okay, please go.
Ark and the eggs.
I think he took them to Dune.
You do?
Yeah, I think he took them to the Temple of Dune, and he brought back that special dagger so that they could kill Theo. And what about Sloane?
I think she is the cure. I think she can siphon. I mean, that's a duh. We all know she can siphon, but we've only talked about her siphoning power from one source and putting it into another. Why can't you take the venom out and put it somewhere else?
And if we're right, when she took power from Dane to transfer over to Brennan to cure Mira, it seems as though there's a little bit of an Easter egg there.
With that gray mark?
Right, where Dane had originally been touched by venom.
Yeah.
So those are just some thoughts to think about.
Okay, I love those last thoughts. What are you reading next? I want to know.
Okay, so this is The Shards by Bret Easton Ellis, author of American Psycho, which is the first time I'm reading that.
What?
The reason it intrigued me is because I guess, so he's obviously an accomplished author already, but he originally started this as like a storytell via podcast and then published it.
What?
So I thought that was kind of exciting. There's murder, there's love, there's hate, and we'll know more next week.
Where did you hear from it?
I was just looking, on the gram and seeing what's going on with writers and books and what are people chatting about. And I thought it was really interesting that it went from podcast to published, like written word. So
I love it.
That caught my eye.
Okay, so next up for me,
Loud.
Yeah.
No, it was me. Sorry.
So I'm at a place in my life where it was like, go, 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 go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes when that happens, I just like food for fodder. I just like something that's easy.
Okay.
So I perused the aisles of Target.
And what did you find?
And I found Ward D by Frida McFadden.
Oh, okay. I've read her before.
You have?
Yeah.
Because I heard she's great.
Yeah, she is. She's good. I haven't read this one.
So she's a best-selling author, but okay, I wanted something a little murky, a little like, what's going on? I mean, I know obviously we've done that, but Onyx Storm has left such a path and it like just this emptiness in me, And so I wanted something a little suspenseful, but just an easy read.
Yeah.
And it really seems like it. Ward D is the hospital's mental health unit.
Ooh.
Staying on brand. And as a medical student, Amy is required to gain experience on the floor. But little do her colleagues know, it may force her to confront a past she's fought hard to forget.
Ooh.
So like layers of this person. But the night starts, the countdown begins. And to me, that's ultimate creepy. Like you're in a mental hospital at night and apparently some of the patients start to go missing and things like that. So it's like, I think there's like so much suspense and maybe some mystery and some thrillerness in there.
Yes.
And I just peeped at a couple of the chapters because I like to dig through to see, okay, is it going to be an easy read for me? And already know I'm going to like it. Because I looked at it first and I was like, I think I want that. I almost got it for us. But then I looked at every other book and I came back to it.
Okay.
So, yeah, it looks really nice. There's only like, let me see, less than 300 pages.
Oh, that'll be nice.
Yeah, it'll be nice. And
she's
then
good.
For us, I'm so glad you said she's good.
Yeah.
I mean, she seems good. Ta-da-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. Ta-da! The Midnight Library.
Ooh, I feel like I've seen this cover before.
Okay, so this was a New York Times bestseller, which is wonderful.
Thank you, by the way.
You're welcome. I originally thought The Lost Bookshop was this book.
Right. Okay.
So I thought it was kind of fun. It's kind of cool because it's this it's even more layered. It's not a UK book, I don't think. No, it's not. But it's this woman who, as she's dying, essentially, or chooses to die, she has all these opportunities to look at what her life would have been if she chose different.
Oh.
Yeah, had like made different choices. And like,
Okay.
okay, so we've all seen Groundhog's Day. We've all
Okay.
seen like, Miracle on 34th Street, or whatever.
Yeah.
You know.
Which are both great movies.
Great story writing. But this just, as I peeked under the covers, I just thought it would be fun.
Okay, no, I'm happy
easy.
for it. And honestly, like we've both got kind of like twisty, turny, possibly.
Yeah, this is supposed to be
Scary
a feel good,
stuff in our other ones.
but like more of a drama piece.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I like it.
And it's not super thick.
Yeah, that's also nice.
We're going a little thinner these days.
Okay, well that sounds great. I'm excited. So
Yeah,
this
enjoy.
is Matt Haig, The Midnight Library.
Yep, a novel.
Okay, let's
A
do it.
vision of limitless possibility. I think I'm just at that place in my life right now.
Okay, I'll take it.
Looking at new careers, looking at a change of pace. And I don't know. I always think it's fun to be in the mindset of someone looking back at choices in their life
Right.
while you're in the midst of making them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I like
Isn't that
that.
great?
Yeah.
And then I believe we have a bonus episode that we'll be filming soon with a
Woo.
special guest. We're going to have a guest on the pod.
Exciting.
It's super exciting. But for now, you badasses, I think these bookshelves are full stocked. I think our bedside tables
Heavy.
are heavy with pages, and my goose is cooked.
Okay. Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody else, thank you for joining us, and we will be back next week.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Bye.